Well, hello everyone. Welcome again to the Stepping Forward show. And today is all about finding and feeding your passion. And my special guest today has a lot of experience in business, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, but also in this whole topic of passion and why it's important to find and feed your passion and how you can actually make money living your passion. So my guest today is the owner and operator of Magnetic Business Solutions, MaryLou Gutscher. Welcome, MaryLou.
Hello, Lisa. Good to see you.
You too. I'm so excited for this. So today, so you and I were talking a number of weeks back about some different things, and you have just got a wealth of experience behind you and under your belt in that regard, and just a great resource in many ways. In life and business, at least I feel that. At least that's the way I walked away, very inspired by your life. But maybe let's just, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you in terms of the business that you run. What is Magnetic Business Solutions?
Actually, the term came from people jokingly calling me a referral magnet when I first set up business in Alberta, which was in 2009. Although I've been a serial entrepreneur since I was in my 20s, actually, 30s, wow. 20s now, because I started with a daycare at home when my children were still preschool age. And so the word magnetic kind of stuck. And what I realized is that every business owner wants to be a magnet for good staff, good clients, good suppliers, good relationships all the way around, and even good systems. They want to have good systems in place, and they don't want them to disappear just because the next new idea came around the block. Exactly. So I just changed the name to Magnetic Business Solutions because to me it's both worlds, really. So,
no, it does. It is very powerful. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about today is this whole area of stepping forward into your area of passion. There's a lot of misconceptions around this whole topic. And so first of all, let's talk about passion. How would you define passion? And
well, I looked up the dictionary definition, and other than being passionate in the bedroom, which we're not going to talk about at all.
We're not going to talk about that, but that's another topic.
The one that I really liked, and I'll read it, is showing or caused by strong feelings or a strong belief. And the strong feelings part can happen when you're angry about something or very passionate about, your child in a play or an idea you just heard. So I want to focus more on the strong belief that you have. And there are a number of, what would you say, mindsets out there about passion that are, when you think it through, really have just one core issue, and that is about whether or not you have a strong belief about something and whether you're willing to take action around it.
Okay.
So if you want to proceed on that note.
Yeah, so what I hear you saying is there's an intensity of energy that comes from whatever this is, this topic or this belief or this desire that you have, or an emotion. Could be an emotion. On the negative side, it can kind of be a negative. You can be passionate about something else, but we're talking about being passionate about something that really lights you up.
Well, and actually, I made my own separate definition to it too, and it's a core belief that you see leading to a brighter future for all. In other words, it's a world-changing belief that you have in your mind.
Fantastic.
And if we stay with that core, then we can also say, well, anytime you feel that strongly about something, you will have strong emotions. You will have events or incidents that just turn you on fire, and others that you just want to rip somebody's throat out about.
Right.
It's
because
you never do that.
No, but you tap in something really important there, because we can have a core belief and a passion for something that is a legitimate passion, and if that gets violated in some way or somehow gets misrepresented, then we can react in a what might be an angry way or something like that, because we see that we're so passionate about that and we believe so much in that it's being violated, so it taps into something for us, right?
And actually, this just one remedy for that I've found works more effectively, although it takes a lot more time. If you really want to take the time to do it, is you just need to define your terms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times people misunderstand a word because their view of what that word means is different than yours. So you have to be willing to define your terms. If you have a very strong belief about something where you know the language of that belief and someone else might not.
Yes.
So
yes.
for example, if I say, you know, basically my passion is for freedom. Well, freedom for what? Freedom with responsibility or without responsibility? Are you talking about license, or are you talking about entitlement, or are you talking about the freedom to work and earn a living and so on? And so my passion for freedom and prosperity, the freedom is what I see as a necessity for humans to actually use the resources they have available to them in order to create prosperity in their lives, whatever that might look like for them.
And that's fantastic. Yeah, I like that. So really being clear about the definition. Okay, so let's wade into that. Once you, how can a person find their passion?
Well, there are three mindsets out there. One of them that I've heard is that people say, well, I'm not passionate really about anything. So how can I even find my passion? But when you understand that it's core belief that you're dealing with here, your passion could come from religion, it could come from an incident that occurred in your life. A lot of times you don't even identify your passion because you feel self-conscious about the things you believe until maybe you run into a teacher in grade 6 or you know, a friend who says something that you just go, oh, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So it will be something that you had a strong belief about for quite a long time, and as you grew up and became an adult and learned and studied and tried things, you just realize you keep coming back to that as a core part of what you believe in. So for me, freedom to climb a tree or to run away and come back in time for dinner, and you know, the freedom issue could be something that started in your very early childhood, but it got redefined as something that's important to all mankind, not just to you.
That's really good.
Yeah. So on that, so those who say they're really not passionate about anything, all I need to do is just sit down and brainstorm. Well, what do I really, really love? You know, like it could be anything from food to helping people, to teaching, to mechanical things, to writing, art. A lot of people find their passion in art, and whether or not they're able to make a business out of it later, because when we deal with that, I'll also explain some of the things around that. They, in fact, live in art. And so you'll find them painting, sketching, drawing, making things. It'll just be part of how they live. So the passion does not have to be necessarily focused just on business.
Right.
I mean, we often see how to take your business from passion to profit, which is actually the name of an article I wrote one.
Yeah.
But it presumes that you've already had the conversation about how passion fits in with everything else. So
it reminds me, I was interviewing, not online, but I was interviewing someone not too long ago as a young man, and he's a graphic designer, and he was telling me, and I said, how did you get into this? He said, well, and he also has, I think, some training he did some degree in engineering or something, right? Some kind of it. And so I said, how did you get into graphic design? He said, well, you know, it's funny, all my life as a little child, I would always be drawing. Even in school, I'll be just drawing while I'm listening and doodling and just drawing. I love to do stuff. So there's an example of someone who all throughout their life, they were engaged in it, and I never, not until much later in life, realized, wow, this is a passion I have. I just love anything to do with this creative expression of graphic design and stuff. So
exactly. So that ties in then with what we're going to talk about later in business too, and that is that it's not passion alone that's going to make you a living. It's passion combined with your talent, a talent that you're willing to nurture. But I just want to mention a couple more possibilities.
Yeah, let's talk about a few more things.
So they'd be passionate about nature, they want to be outside. outside a lot. The religion I mentioned about helping people, and the helping people is a very broad general thing. So, but there will be some incident that says to you, or a realization at some point, that you do have a passion about people. So in my case, I grew up with the grandparents, well, first of all, in a family business, but also my grandparents ran a house of refuge, which is the kind of the forerunner to today's seniors' homes.
Right.
And from the age of birth till 9, I spent a lot of time there. And I remember thinking, even as a child, that part of my job and my joy was to make these people feel good. So
wow.
just being around helped, because they love to have children around. And then I had a red hair, and at the time it was way more red than it is now. And I had a kind of a bouncy personality, and this whole freedom issue, like I just want to do what I want to do.
Yes.
It all kind of made me happy that they smiled.
Right.
So when you take that forward into the feelings that you get when you help people, you realize it's always been there. It's always been there. You've just transformed your talent to identify and take action in appropriate ways, right?
That's really good.
Yeah. So that's basically identifying your passion.
Okay.
And let's go actually to what happens though when you're so passionate about something that people reject you.
Okay. So some of the obstacles to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I find myself in that position a lot. I happen to believe that very strongly that coercion in relationships is wrong. And so wherever there is a coercive environment, for example, even legislation that favors one group at the expense of the other, it's forcing one to pay for the other. And understand equality before the law, which means that you can't harm other people. But when it comes down to, choosing one group over another and using force to coerce people to support that or be punished.
Right.
So
that's a really good point.
People go, what are you talking about?
Well, yeah, we could get on that topic for a long time, but we won't.
So for me, I really had to learn context. And understand when and where to raise issues. And I have some friends who look at me sometimes and say, you're the one that draws the line in the carpet, right? So I need to understand the needs of my clients and everybody else around me, and I can choose to not engage in the conversation, even though it's an underlying passion of mine.
Yeah.
So for those who are running into a similar situation, you don't have to get obnoxious about it.
Right.
And when you do, you need to learn from how people react and then change how you express the idea. So take courses on how to communicate more effectively. One of the ones that I took, I'm just trying to think of the name of it now because it was so cute and I had it a second ago.
Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence.
Well, that's a good book. Exactly. That's the concept right there. But just learn how to express yourself more effectively without being abrasive, without assuming that you're completely right every time and that other people are always wrong. And this whole pursuit in my part has led me to have as one of my underlying personality development goals to be more magnanimous, to grant that other people have lives and ideas that are so valuable to them that if I come in and make it sound like, I'm very self-righteous, of course, I know the answer.
Right.
Then I'm not granting them even human kindness. I'm basically writing them off. And it is a long journey. It'll never end for me. Because being right feels good, but it's not the way to get along in society.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm
not always right. So when I'm so adamant about it, and then I'm proven wrong, it's quite a takedown. So I just learn from that same emotional experience that all you have to do is just continually learn to communicate more effectively.
And context. I think what you said is important in terms of context too, right? Where sometimes you can have those kind of discussions in one context, but in another context it may not be appropriate or may not be. You just have to harness the energy behind it maybe, or just how you present that, or like you said, express it differently. I think that's a really
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the choices I've made in expressing the business side of things, which we might as well go to next. So in business, if you expect your passion to make you money, you have to think again, because your belief is not what makes you money. It's your skill, your talent, and your willingness to take action.
Mm.
So in business, you take your strong belief, you combine it with your talent, which you've had since birth, like the example you gave of the graphic designer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find a market that needs that kind of help, and you adapt your talent to that market. And beyond that, the communication skills you develop from being able to even have conversations about what's important to you, those skills will help you in terms of collaborating with other people,
Mm-hmm.
networking with people who might become clients or who would provide a support group. And you and I are involved in a few networking groups that are like that, where you just can't believe how much support there is by just keeping on showing up. It's amazing. Well, even meeting you, you know, this work that we're doing today, it never would have happened if we weren't both out there networking and developing relationships with people.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
That's important. And then even your talent. One of my businesses was a publishing business. I published client newsletters for the financial industry, for financial advisors, so that they could communicate with their clients effectively, and then taught them how to use them to generate referrals, and to recruit and keep good agents, to remind clients and give them tips around the times when insurance or mutual funds or investments were needed to be reviewed. And was quite a successful business. I took that business to over $1.8 million in sales before selling to a jealous competitor.
Wow.
We can't
Great.
the
best place. Best buyer. Awesome.
So with business, the passion's good, and like if you're passionate about art, and that is what you believe will change the world, as opposed to art being your talent and your passion being something else,
right?
Then you have to be careful, because it may take you quite a long time to develop a name for yourself to be the only artist who has this particular kind of painting or sculpture or whatever. But if what you're thinking is, my passion is about helping people to express themselves more fully, and art is one of those things that can change moods in their whatever they happen to be, right? However you define it, like the graphic designer is saying, I can help businesses to promote themselves by doing this, because I'm really good at hearing what they say about their clients and about what they're able to do, and putting that into a graphic ad, right?
Yeah.
So you need to still take what your talent is and transform it, while still living within your strong belief between right and wrong and what's really good for the universe.
So I just want to hone in on that for 1 second, because what I hear you saying is that, so for example, that example of a graphic designer, so say they were talented in drawing and other forms of design in that regard, and they were passionate about that, but yet maybe they hadn't developed the skill of really being able to translate what the person wanted onto paper, like really make that connection between, maybe in their head they can think of ideas, but then there's another scale of being able to kind of understand and then put it onto paper, right? So
and to work with software, and to work with color, and to be able to identify clearly what it is that's needed. And there are a whole bunch of things involved in that. So I would say, bottom line with any of this, around your passion, around anything else you want to apply through that passion, is you still need to commit to being a continuous learner.
Yeah.
You will never know it all. And the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So taking courses, well, in fact, working with you, Lisa, like as a communications is so important. If you can't
Yes.
communicate, how can you live in society?
Yes.
And the skills you have in helping people in that area, whether it's public speaking or even just straight communication, enunciation, anything that's required so that a person is able to get by in their world successfully. It's so important for people to find those people around them who can teach them,
Mm-hmm.
to find mentors, to honor mentors, to even mentor others, because what I found is that you learn more by teaching than by being taught. Have you found that?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Absolutely.
I remember, so when I had the publishing business, my daughter Brenda was the general manager. I found that out. She was my first employee, and it turned out she was a crackerjack manager. So she was great at the things I was not so good at. I was not so good at routine.
Yeah.
I'm actually better at that now because I have better systems personally than I had at the time. But so she would manage the shop there, and my role was just glorious because it totally fit with my vision and my mission and who I was. And I want to talk about that mission for business too in a minute.
Yeah.
So I love people. I love being on stage. I love selling. And I love being creative about what it is we're going to provide for our clients, because I'm the one who's out there talking to them all the time, right? Yes. So I've been on the road running workshops, going across the country, speaking. I spoke at $1 Million Roundtable 3 times, which is unheard of for a non-industry person. And Brenda, and then so strategy, marketing, and forgotten what the third one was. Oh, product development. And so I got to do all that because I could delegate to her.
Yeah.
And in business, when you can find that person who is the left hand or the right hand or the, oh my gosh, the rest of my body, you're very fortunate. And that person is the one who will help you develop your business from there.
I just want to go back to what you were saying about having a growth mindset, and you really modeled this so well, MaryLou, in terms of being really always learning, having a growth mindset, and you've been in business. You've said you're a serial entrepreneur for how many years?
Probably as long as you have been alive.
That's a long,
but I'm pretty sure.
That's a long time.
Once I got the start, I wouldn't have been stopped. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and I think that's so good. I remember the first time you came to one of my speaking boot camps, and you had been speaking for 20 years or more, 30 years. I'm like, and I remember someone asked you, why are you going? And this was part of your time. I said, well, I can always learn something new. And I thought, wow, that is such an important message for, like you were talking about mentoring, really bringing people along. Said, you know what, there's always something new, even if it's a small tweak we can make in whatever area of our life or business. And so you really model that really well. And I think in this whole area of just skill development and learning how to, like you were saying, make a business from your passion, there's always, because I think people really fall short in that, because they and I see this in public speaking. A lot of times people try to ride on their talent alone.
Yes. Oh, I totally, I agree.
Right? Yeah. And they don't realize, well, it's only going to take you so far. In fact, talent is a small portion of what's going to make you an effective communicator. And so realizing that this aspect of skill, which are all things we can learn if we're open for it, is such a huge part of us even feeding our passion. And that's what I hear you saying.
I agree totally. And actually there's a whole field around inappropriately confident that I'm kind of exploring.
Inappropriately confident?
Inappropriately confident. So the example you gave about somebody speaking because they're passionate about something.
Yes.
But they're inappropriately confident about their speaking ability. Whereas they might, on the other hand, feel like, oh, they could never understand So
Ah,
lacking confidence inappropriately, because actually, if you just ask somebody to explain themselves to
yes.
you until you understand and realize that accountants, lawyers, bookkeepers, whoever, speaker trainers,
Yeah.
that they don't say something you don't understand and then you just let it pass.
Mm-hmm.
Their job there is to clarify for you what it is you need. And so don't be afraid to ask. May I just slip back now to vision, mission,
Mm-hmm.
goals, and strategy in business?
Okay.
So your vision is a world vision applied to the
Hmm.
potential client base you want to work with.
Hmm.
So my vision of the world, which is more free and more prosperous, is because entrepreneurs create greater value by bringing new ideas to
Hmm.
people and actually creating wealth through that, as opposed to simply using the wealth that's already there and reinvesting somewhere else where it's being created again, right?
Yes.
So my vision is about a world of freedom and prosperity where entrepreneurs are free to practice and to benefit from their good work and also suffer the consequences if they make a mistake and choose the wrong business. And then my mission is to help entrepreneurs uh, earn the kind of income they deserve to be rewarded for what they contribute. So in many ways, in terms of being honored, in terms of earning an income, in terms of the gratitude of those around them
Mm.
that they support their employees, their families, their communities, and so on.
Right.
And so my goal is always to keep them improving and providing greater value and being more recognized out there, because they are the ones that take all the risk, you know.
Yes.
We need as business owners people around us to support us that we can hire and either on contract or as
Mm-hmm.
employees. And so I'm not saying they're not important at all. In fact, we can't live without them. We
Right.
can't.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just can't survive. Imagine me trying to manage that publishing business. It would have been insane. It would have been chaos in there because I'm not strong on that side.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the goals are based on, in a business, are based on you achieving the kind of goals that you're setting for your business. They would be related to profits, and they would be related to lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to choose those goals and make them so they are measurable and that you can put action steps to them. And that's where your strategy contains
Mm-hmm.
that lifestyle vision,
Right.
and your tactics or your plan contain what it is you're going to do to make it happen. So make sure that when you're going to business, you don't go in just with passion, because
Yes.
you can burn out very fast and you'll
Yeah.
likely spend money hoping someone else will make it happen for you.
Right.
So be prepared to invest time, money, energy, and discomfort as you become more comfortable in business.
What if, and that is, so important advice, is to put a plan of action or solicit some people to help you put a plan of action.
Exactly. Well, and it implies that you'll get help if you're not somebody who can do it yourself.
Yeah, and hiring someone like you, who's a coach, for helping to move them forward in their business or help them to define their business marketing plan. Is that correct?
Yep. Well, and actually, I think even defining coach, there are all kinds of coaches out there, and you need one or more of them depending on what your situation is. I think of myself as being a second CEO on your shoulder. So the person you can tell anything at all to, and I will give you feedback. Sometimes the feedback is just going to say, you are a rock star. And you just keep doing what you're doing. And other times it'll be, it's been tried a lot before. Why don't we just take a look at this and see if your chances are any better than anybody else's on this one.
Right.
And so it's like your conscience, the voice that balances, like a devil's advocate, the ideas that are just totally off the wall, and the one that endorses those ideas that have strength and can be sustainable. And then because of my networking and all the people that I know, I don't try to do, for example, what Shauna Madsen does. Shauna Madsen is the best business planning consultant and business planner that I know. So, if people actually need a business plan designed, I suggest that they contact her. If they need speaking training, I can give them this tiny little tip, the 3x3 rule that you and I talk about once in a while. I can say you could basically get up from the back of the room and speak in just 2 minutes by thinking like this.
Yeah.
But if you want to really become professional, you need more training and practice. So I refer people that I believe will be just right for the client, and some things I can do with them completely hands-on, other things not. But I provide on-demand mentoring as part of my coaching program, so people can call, text, email me at any time at no extra charge, and I will respond within 24 hours. Because when you're making decisions at that level, you want feedback right when you need it. You don't want to wait for a committee to make a decision.
Yeah.
So, or for the next coaching call.
So it sounds like somewhere along the way, and I'm just thinking about this in terms of passion, that you have to bring it into even like a very definite focus.
Absolutely. And it gets finer and finer focused as you go along. So when people say, well, what do I have to do to start a business? Then you look on the website and it says, register your business and blah, 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 and get your tax and all that stuff. And I say, no, the only thing you need to start a business is get a client.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you really don't have a business until you get a client.
Yeah.
And then you need to get more clients even while you're still in this mode of I serve everybody. You need to get a few clients so you can even figure out which ones you serve best and which ones actually use the best of what you have. So over the years, basically, I set up my coaching practice here 9 years ago after a 4-year accidental retirement. Couldn't stand that, and not when I knew that this was so much fun. And I started by running seminars, and that was basically the only income. But I realized that I was selling a seat in seminar, but implementation was the hardest thing for the client. They get the idea, they write the notes down, but where are they going to take time in their day to actually change things? They have to stop doing something in order to do something else, right? Create capacity to change it. So I would end up spending hours with some of these people afterwards, helping them implement. And I thought, I've got the cart before the horse. I should be coaching and using the material from my seminars I've been to, ideas that I've seen online anywhere, and bring them to the client at a time when we can incorporate them together and actually be right on it right away, instant incorporation. So that's my model change, for example. So other people might be running into something like this. And I know that you've had changes in your career too, in terms of, and your business, in terms of what it is you actually market, even though you provide it all.
Yeah, exactly.
How it's delivered and what's paid for, right?
You have to streamline in many ways. And because, no, that's really good. And that can be scary for some people. I just want to touch on one other aspect of passion here before we finish up, because a lot of times people they say, I don't know, I've got so many passions. How do I choose which one to follow?
Take a course on priority management. Because, at a very basic level, you need to be able to identify A priority, B priority, C priority. And then the simple formula is basically, while you're working on A's, and you have to have A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, B1, B2, and so on down the line. So you have to develop a system for identifying what they are. When there's an A1 to work on, you work on it until you can't work on it any further. Then you go to A2 and A3 and so on. And as A1 becomes more available, you jump back up there and take care of it, right? So it's a very simple ABC 1, 2, 3 model of prioritizing. And you just have to start somewhere. You can't even find out what doesn't work very well until you do something.
Yeah, and exactly. And some things are passions that are meant just to be like outlets for you to relax or rest or whatever. There may not be something for you to do a business, form into a business that they may not generate income for you. They could, but so we have to identify what's the purpose of this passion and how does
Yeah,
has it
exactly.
expressed in my life.
So you block time first for yourself, just like we say, pay yourself in business.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that you have time to work out, you have time to sleep, you have time to read, you have time to cook, you have time to eat, sleep, whatever. I think I said sleep twice. That
Yeah.
might be because I really like sleeping.
Yes.
and then relationships come next. So that the most important one would be your spouse and your children. And then from there, you decide what are the most important in terms of the time in the context of their availability. And then after that come friends. And you know which friends you want and need in your life based on the relationship. There are sports friends, there are social friends, there are movie friends, there are intellectual friends, So anyway, it
Yeah.
leads to a rich life if you actually block time for all parts. And when you first start your business, you will find that your business will eat a lot of your time. So you have to be really, really precise about who's important in your life and make sure you don't leave them out. You have to say, I'm sorry, the only time we can do this is on Thursday night from 7 to 9:30. You block time.
Right. That's awesome. Anything else that you want to share around this topic before we close out here in terms of some things that, any last tips?
Well, actually, when people say I'm not very passionate because I'm not really doing what's my real passion, I say you have to practice being passionate. So find something in what you do that makes you feel passionate about it. And again, if you have difficulty doing that, go take a course. Tonight, my son and I'm visiting my son, and he loves long distance hikes. He just walked across Canada, finished that hike this spring. He's done all the El Camino trails in a what he thought might be an early retirement, but it turns out it's just going to be an interim retirement. Both of us are going to a course tonight on how to find passion in what we do.
Oh, cool.
It's really, really. So wherever you feel like you have a question, there's an answer. And if you network with people and you do it consciously and purposefully, you will find people who can help you with it.
That's so good.
I'd say just be passionate.
That's so good. Yes, and learn from other people like you. So, MaryLou, if anyone wants to connect with you, how can they reach you?
Well, we talked about the name of the business, Magnetic Business Solutions, based on gaining and keeping good clients, good staff, good relationships. So magneticbusinesssolutions.com. There's a resource of about 200 articles there that are all categorized by topic. So they primarily deal with business, but the odd time you'll find that business articles also lead to personal development. And my phone number is 780-908-0309. And that's the only phone number I have. So it may be shut off at night, but I'll see it in the morning. 780-908-0309. I'd love to talk with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, MaryLou. This has been so much fun and just learning so much from you. And as I said, this is just like one topic of many that we could drill down deep in with you. So we'll have to have you back for another time on another topic.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Yeah, you're welcome. Enjoy your course tonight and your time with your son.
Thank you. Bye now.
Okay, bye-bye.